The wind howled across the frozen plains of Europa, carrying with it the sharp, biting cold that seemed to cut through even the thickest layers of human technology. The small team of scientists trudged through the icy landscape, their boots crunching against the hard, frozen surface. Every step left a temporary imprint, a fleeting mark in a world that seemed eternal and untouched. Above them, the gray sky stretched endlessly, a pale mirror to the ice below. Despite the harshness of the environment, the team moved forward with determination. Dr. Elena Cower led the group, her breath forming small clouds in the freezing air. She adjusted her visor and squinted toward a distant ridge where the ice appeared to bulge unnaturally. Something beneath that frozen surface had caught her attention during their scans. The instruments had detected irregular energy readings, subtle vibrations beneath the ice, something that did not belong to the natural world. "This way," Elena said, her voice firm yet calm. The others, clad in thick, insulated suits, nodded and followed. She moved with a confident stride, balancing caution with curiosity. Her mind was a mixture of excitement and calculation, trying to anticipate what lay ahead. She had spent her entire career chasing anomalies, seeking out the unknown, but this felt different. As they approached the ridge, the ice beneath their feet began to change. The surface grew smoother, almost polished, and faint geometric patterns appeared under the thin layer of frost. Elena's heart quickened. These patterns were not natural. They were deliberate, designed, and somehow old. So old that they had survived centuries beneath layers of ice. "Dr. Cower, are you sure we should be this close?" one of her colleagues, Matteo, asked, his voice trembling slightly. Elena looked back at him, seeing the concern in his eyes. She understood. Fear was natural, even expected, when facing the unknown. But she also knew that fear could not guide discovery. "We have our readings," she replied. "The instruments are stable. We can't ignore this. Whatever is beneath the ice, it wants to be found." With careful precision, Elena activated her portable scanner. It sent waves into the ice, bouncing back data that formed a faint, three-dimensional outline of the object below. The readings confirmed her suspicions. There was something massive, with smooth curves and sharp edges, encased entirely in ice. It was too large to be a natural formation, too symmetrical to be anything ordinary. "It's enormous," Matteo whispered, his usual confidence shaken. Elena did not respond immediately. Her eyes remained fixed on the scanner. The object's shape was unlike anything they had ever encountered. Its surface, though frozen, seemed to reflect light in subtle shifting patterns, almost as if it were aware of their presence. "We need to mark the site and prepare for excavation," Elena finally said. "But I want a closer look. We need to understand what we're dealing with before we bring heavy equipment." The team began setting up a temporary base, carefully laying down insulated mats and portable heaters. The wind was relentless, and every moment spent outside demanded attention and endurance. Elena, however, could barely keep her mind on the logistics. Her thoughts kept returning to the object beneath the ice. She could feel its presence, a strange resonance that vibrated through the scanners and, oddly, through her own senses. By late afternoon, the team had cleared a small area around the ridge. Elena knelt on the ice, running her hand along one of the faint geometric lines. The ice was impossibly smooth, almost glass-like. She traced the patterns with her gloved fingers, feeling a strange warmth beneath the cold. It was subtle, barely noticeable, but it was there. A hint that whatever lay beneath was not entirely lifeless. "Elena, look at this," Matteo called, holding up his scanner. The readings were spiking, energy levels rising and falling in rhythmic pulses. The object beneath them seemed to respond to their presence, almost like a heartbeat. Elena's pulse quickened. She had studied countless anomalies, but nothing had ever reacted in such a deliberate way. "It's alive, in some sense," she whispered. The team exchanged nervous glances, the reality of the situation sinking in. They were standing above something that had been dormant for centuries, something that might possess intelligence far beyond their own. Night fell quickly on Europa, the darkness pressing down like a heavy blanket. The team retreated to their small, heated shelter, but Elena could not rest. She sat by the scanner, analyzing the readings over and over, looking for patterns, trying to understand the rhythm beneath the ice. It was there, a subtle pulse that seemed almost deliberate, as if the object beneath was aware of their scrutiny. By the early hours of the morning, Elena made a decision. The risk was enormous, but her curiosity could not be contained. She would attempt to open a small access point, just enough to see what lay inside. If she succeeded, it could be the most important discovery in human history. If she failed, well, the risk was worth taking. She donned her reinforced suit, checked her oxygen supply, and approached the ridge alone, her steps quiet against the ice. The wind howled, but she felt a strange sense of calm, as if the object itself welcomed her presence. Using specialized tools, she began to chip away at the ice, revealing a seam in the surface below. The line of the seam was perfect, precise, and it curved gently like the hull of a massive ship. Hours passed as she worked, and finally, a small hatch became visible. It was smooth, metallic, and marked with symbols she did not recognize. They were not letters or numbers, but intricate designs that seemed to shift when viewed from different angles. Elena traced them with her fingers, feeling an almost magnetic pull. "This is incredible," she murmured. "Some kind of interface, or a message." Her heart pounded as she carefully manipulated the hatch. It gave way with a soft click, revealing a dark interior. A faint glow emanated from within, pulsing gently like the rhythm of a living creature. Elena shone her light inside and took a deep breath. The interior was vast, far larger than the hatch suggested. The walls were smooth and curved, lined with panels covered in the same shifting symbols. Strange conduits ran along the surfaces, glowing faintly as if carrying energy through the ship. The air smelled faintly metallic, but strangely clean, as if untouched by time. Elena stepped inside, her boots echoing on the smooth floor. She moved slowly, absorbing every detail, her mind racing with possibilities. This was no ordinary ship. It was ancient, alien, and intelligent. She could feel it in the subtle vibrations beneath her feet, the way the light seemed to respond to her presence, and the pulse that matched the one she had detected from outside. As she explored further, her hand brushed against a panel. Instantly, the symbols lit up brighter, and a holographic projection appeared before her eyes. Stars, planets, and strange diagrams filled the space around her. She gasped, realizing she was looking at a map of distant worlds, of places humanity had never reached. Elena stepped back, overwhelmed by the enormity of what she had discovered. The ship had slept beneath the ice for centuries, waiting silently, and now somehow she had awakened it. She did not fully understand how or why, but one thing was clear. This was the beginning of something extraordinary. Her mind raced with questions. Was the ship a relic left behind by an ancient civilization? Or was it a guardian, a vessel designed to guide those who found it? And most importantly, why had it chosen now to awaken? And why had it responded to her? For hours, Elena studied the holographic projections, trying to decipher their meaning. Patterns emerged, faint hints of a language that was not spoken, but understood through logic and intuition. She realized that her human mind, with its combination of creativity, curiosity, and problem-solving, might be exactly what the ship expected. As dawn approached, Elena knew she had to return to her team. The discovery was too important to keep secret, and she needed their help to fully explore the ship. But as she stepped back through the hatch and into the cold morning air, she felt a strange connection to the vessel beneath the ice. It was as if it had recognized her, not just as an intruder but as a partner, a being capable of understanding and unlocking its secrets. When she returned to the surface, her colleagues crowded around her, eyes wide with anticipation. The scanners were still picking up energy pulses from the ship, rhythmic and steady, almost like a heartbeat. Elena smiled, a mix of awe and determination on her face. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "We are standing on the threshold of something far greater than ourselves. And we are the ones who will take the first step." The wind continued to howl across Europa, but Elena no longer felt its bite. She had found something incredible, something that had slept for centuries beneath the ice, and now it was awake. And in that awakening, she could sense a promise, that humanity, with all its flaws and strengths, was about to take its place among the stars. The small base camp buzzed with activity as the first rays of sunlight reflected off the endless ice. The team moved quickly, preparing instruments and protective gear, but their movement seemed almost routine compared to the excitement and tension in the air. Elena stood apart for a moment, her mind still consumed by the vision of the alien ship's interior and the strange holographic map that had appeared when she had touched the panels. She had slept little, if at all, during the night. In her dreams, the glowing lines of the symbols appeared before her eyes, shifting and pulsing as if alive. She woke with a single thought repeating over and over. The ship was waiting, and it had chosen her to begin its awakening. "Elena, are you ready?" Matteo asked, stepping beside her. He tried to keep his voice steady, but Elena could hear the underlying tension. Unlike her, he still approached this discovery with a measure of fear and caution, and she respected that. "Yes," she replied. "We need to understand it. We need to communicate in some way. It's alive, Matteo. I feel it." They gathered around the hatch, which now glimmered faintly beneath the morning light. The ice surrounding it had been partially cleared, revealing the smooth hull and the delicate symbols that covered its surface. Elena carefully activated her tools, scanning the panels and running small electrical currents through the surfaces. The symbols responded immediately, glowing brighter and shifting in complex patterns. "It's reacting to you," Matteo said in awe. "Yes," Elena whispered. "It recognizes something in us. Maybe it recognizes creativity, intuition, problem-solving. It's waiting for a mind like ours." For the next several hours, Elena experimented with different approaches. She tried pressing patterns in sequence, observing the changes in the symbols. She mapped the pulses of energy, attempting to match them with her movements, and slowly a rhythm emerged. The ship seemed to respond not to brute force, but to thought, to careful observation, and to human reasoning. Then, a new projection appeared. From the floor of the hatch, a series of lights formed a three-dimensional shape, rotating and expanding into what looked like a model of the ship itself. Elena watched, fascinated, as the image extended outward, showing intricate networks of corridors, chambers, and strange machinery that defied human engineering. "This is a blueprint," she said, her voice trembling with excitement. "It's showing us how it's built, how it works." Matteo leaned closer, eyes wide. "And what is that?" He pointed at a small glowing orb within the holographic image. Elena studied it carefully. "I think it's a power source, or maybe the central core. It's alive in a way. It pulses, but it's not like anything we've ever seen. I don't think it's just energy. It's intelligence." The day passed quickly, and the team became absorbed in the alien technology. Every discovery raised more questions than answers, yet each small success fueled Elena's determination. She felt the ship's presence more strongly than ever, a gentle hum that seemed to match her own heartbeat when she focused. Late in the afternoon, Elena decided it was time to go further. She would enter the ship, even if only a few meters at first. She checked her suit and oxygen supply, then signaled for Matteo to follow. With careful steps, they descended into the interior, the hatch sliding shut behind them with a soft metallic hum. Inside, the air was still and faintly warm. The walls shimmered with the soft glow of the alien symbols, guiding their path deeper into the vessel. The corridors curved smoothly, making it clear that this ship had been designed for intelligence and efficiency rather than human architecture. Elena reached out and touched one of the panels. The symbols reacted instantly, flowing across the surface like liquid light. As she watched, the walls shifted slightly, opening a larger chamber ahead. A soft, melodic hum filled the space, resonating through the floor and into their feet. It was subtle, almost musical, and Elena felt an unexpected calm wash over her. "Do you hear that?" Matteo asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," Elena replied. "It's communicating." The chamber they entered was vast, larger than any human building they had ever seen. In the center, a structure glowed with a soft golden light, rotating slowly. The patterns on its surface resembled the symbols outside, but seemed more complex, more intricate. Elena could feel a subtle energy emanating from it, a kind of awareness that seemed alive, waiting for interaction. She stepped closer, studying the rotating structure. "This must be the core. It's conscious. Somehow it knows we are here. It's testing us." Matteo looked uneasy. "Testing us? How?" Elena did not answer immediately. She extended her hand toward the structure, her fingers hovering just above its surface. The light shifted, brighter in some areas, dimmer in others, as if responding to her presence. She realized then that the ship was sensitive to intent, to thought, to the focus of the mind. Slowly, she moved her hand, tracing patterns that made sense to her, combining logic and intuition. The ship responded, adjusting its lights and movements in a way that seemed almost like encouragement. A low vibration ran through the floor, harmonizing with the pulses she had felt outside. "This is incredible," Elena whispered. "It's teaching us. It's showing us how to interact with it step by step." Matteo shook his head in awe. "I don't know if I can believe this, but it's real. And we're part of it." As the day turned into night within the ship, they continued to explore, guided by the glowing patterns and the gentle pulses of energy. Elena discovered that each symbol, each light, represented information, and when interacted with, the ship began to reveal knowledge, star maps, energy systems, and hints of advanced technologies far beyond anything humans had yet created. Hours later, they discovered a console-like panel that responded to voice commands. Elena spoke softly, asking questions about the ship's purpose, its origins, and its capabilities. To her astonishment, the panel responded, not with words, but with visuals and patterns that communicated meaning clearly and logically. It was as if the ship spoke in a language of ideas rather than letters or sounds, and Elena found herself understanding intuitively. The information was vast, almost overwhelming, but her mind adapted, learning from the ship as it learned from her. "It's teaching us," she said to Matteo, "not just about technology, but about understanding. It wants us to think, to reason, to create solutions that it cannot. It needs our humanity." Matteo nodded slowly. "So we're not just explorers, we're partners." "Yes," Elena agreed. "And if we succeed, we'll unlock something far greater than ourselves." As they delved deeper into the ship, Elena noticed that the core pulsed more strongly whenever she made discoveries, almost as if approving of her methods. The symbols shifted faster, creating new paths and opening chambers that had remained hidden for centuries. In one of these newly revealed chambers, they found rows of glowing orbs, each containing what appeared to be stored knowledge, plans for devices, star charts, and instructions for navigating the cosmos. Elena realized that this ship was a repository, a vessel built not just for travel but for teaching, guiding civilizations capable of understanding its wisdom. "This is a gift," she said softly, touching one of the orbs. The symbols reacted, flowing across the walls in an intricate dance of light. "It's waiting for a civilization capable of curiosity, compassion, and creativity. And I think we might be it." Matteo looked around, overwhelmed. "So this is why it chose us? Why it responded to your touch? Humans are special?" Elena smiled, her eyes reflecting the glow of the orbs. "Yes. We have something the ship recognizes. Adaptability, imagination, the ability to solve problems in ways it cannot predict. We are capable of learning, teaching, and creating. That is what makes us unique." For the next several hours, they continued exploring, cataloging everything they could, and interacting with the ship in ways that seemed almost instinctive. Every touch, every movement, every thought contributed to a growing understanding. The ship responded in kind, guiding them, revealing secrets, and expanding the boundaries of what they believed was possible. As the simulated night drew to a close, Elena paused and looked at the ship's core. It glowed steadily, a beacon of intelligence and promise. She could feel a connection forming, a silent bond that bridged human and alien understanding. "We've only just begun," she said quietly to Matteo. "Tomorrow we'll go further, we'll learn more, unlock more, and maybe, just maybe, we'll prove that humanity is ready for the stars." Matteo nodded, and for the first time he looked truly inspired rather than afraid. "Let's do it," he said. "Let's see how far we can go." Elena felt a thrill of hope and purpose. The alien ship had slept for centuries, silent beneath the ice, waiting for a mind capable of unlocking its potential. That mind, she now realized, did not need to be alien. It could be human. And as she drifted into a rare, deep sleep within the warmth of the ship, she knew that the next day would bring discoveries that could change the course of human history forever. The ship pulsed gently around her, a rhythm of light and energy, as if acknowledging her presence. It had awakened once, and now it was alive in a new way. Together, human and machine, they would explore, learn, and perhaps even redefine what it meant to reach for the stars. Outside, the cold winds of Europa continued to blow, but within the ship, warmth, light, and possibility filled every corner. Humanity had taken the first true step beyond its home, and the universe was waiting. The next morning, Elena awoke to a soft, golden glow filling the chamber. The ship's core pulsed gently as if greeting her. Outside, the icy winds of Europa raged on, but inside, warmth and calm embraced her. She stretched and glanced at Matteo, who was already examining one of the glowing orbs they had discovered yesterday. "Morning," she said softly. "Did you sleep?" Matteo shook his head, smiling slightly. "Not really. I was thinking. I still can't believe this is real. Everything we've seen, it's beyond anything humans have ever imagined." Elena nodded. "I know, but we need to focus. The ship is showing us things because it trusts us. We can't waste that trust." They began their exploration anew, moving through corridors that had not yet been fully revealed. The ship seemed alive, responding to their presence in subtle ways. Symbols glowed as they approached, lights shifted to guide their steps, and the air vibrated faintly, harmonizing with their movements. In one chamber, Elena found what appeared to be a control panel unlike any she had seen. It was circular, with a series of intricate dials and glowing lines that seemed to rearrange themselves constantly. As she reached out to touch it, the lines shifted, forming a pattern that resembled a key. "It's a puzzle," Elena whispered. "The ship wants us to solve it." Matteo leaned closer. "A puzzle? Like a game?" Elena smiled. "Not exactly a game. It's testing our understanding. It wants to see if we can think creatively, adapt, and work together. That's what it values. That's why it chose us." She moved her fingers along the glowing lines, trying different combinations. Each attempt caused the lines to shift and glow brighter, responding to her thought process. Hours passed as they worked, experimenting, learning, and observing the ship's reactions. Slowly, patterns emerged. Elena realized that the ship was teaching them to think like it thought, logically, intuitively, and creatively all at once. Finally, after a long sequence of adjustments, the key-like pattern locked into place. The panel hummed, and the room transformed. A portion of the wall slid open, revealing a new chamber filled with holographic displays and objects that seemed to hover in mid-air. "It's a library," Elena breathed. "A repository of knowledge." Matteo's eyes widened. "All of this is for us?" "Yes," she said softly. "It's not just information. It's guidance. The ship was designed to help a civilization capable of understanding and using this knowledge responsibly. It has waited for someone like us." The chamber contained countless orbs of light, each containing data that could transform human understanding. Star maps, energy systems, technologies, and designs far beyond human capability hovered in midair. Elena and Matteo spent hours examining the information, learning in ways they had never imagined. "This could change everything," Matteo said, awe in his voice. "Energy, medicine, travel, even communication. This knowledge could take humanity further than we ever dreamed." Elena nodded. "And the ship is giving it to us gradually. It's teaching us to be ready, not just to use the technology, but to understand it, to use it wisely." As they delved deeper, they discovered a series of star maps. The ship had recorded thousands of worlds, some familiar, some unknown, each with potential for exploration. Elena realized that this was not just a ship, it was a guide. It had been waiting for a civilization ready to take its first steps into the cosmos. She projected one of the star maps into the center of the chamber. Light stretched outward, showing distant solar systems and planets, some marked with subtle symbols. "Look at this," she said. "These stars, they're destinations. The ship is showing us where to go, what to discover. We're not just learning, we're being prepared." Matteo examined the map, tracing lines between stars with his fingers. "It's incredible, and we're the first humans to see it." "Yes," Elena replied. "We're standing on the edge of something monumental. But the ship is also teaching us responsibility. Every discovery comes with guidance, with understanding. It's not just about technology. It's about how we think, how we create, how we solve problems." The day continued with more exploration. Elena discovered that the ship's systems were interconnected, like a living network of thought. Every time they interacted with a panel, the knowledge adapted, providing new insights and challenges. It was learning from them as much as they were learning from it. In one chamber, Elena discovered a series of holographic figures, representations of civilizations that had once existed or might exist elsewhere. Each figure demonstrated problem-solving, cooperation, and creativity. The ship seemed to show them as examples of potential paths, both successful and flawed. "It's teaching us about morality," Elena said quietly, "about how to grow and thrive. This isn't just technology. This is wisdom." Matteo nodded, absorbing her words. "And it's trusting us to use it wisely. That's amazing." Hours passed, and the team began to notice a pattern. The ship's responses grew stronger when they collaborated. When they combined intuition with logic, creativity with observation. It was as if the ship itself wanted to encourage human cooperation, to demonstrate the power of unity and shared knowledge. Elena realized something profound. The ship had chosen humans not just for intelligence, but for something deeper. Creativity, empathy, adaptability. These were qualities the ship recognized and valued. It had waited for a species that could think beyond survival, beyond mere technology, and that could use knowledge to shape the future responsibly. Later, as they rested in a chamber with soft, glowing lights, Elena reflected on their progress. "Matteo, do you realize what we've discovered?" Matteo looked tired, but inspired. "Yes. It's everything. Knowledge, guidance, the map to the stars. But more than that, it's hope. It's proof that humans can reach beyond our limits." Elena smiled. "Exactly. We are being tested, but not in the way we expected. The ship wants to see our potential, our ability to work together, to adapt, to think. If we succeed, it will open the door to possibilities we've never imagined." As evening approached inside the ship, they encountered another chamber. This one was different. It was darker, filled with a soft, pulsating light, and a low hum vibrated through the floor. In the center stood a structure larger than the core they had first discovered, its surface shimmering with colors that defied description. Elena approached cautiously, sensing the weight of importance. She reached out, and the structure responded immediately. The colors shifted, forming patterns that seemed to tell a story, not in words, but in ideas. It spoke of civilizations rising and falling, of the choices they had made, and of the consequences of wisdom and folly. "It's showing history," she whispered, "not just of itself, but of life and intelligence." Matteo watched closely. "And we're part of it now. The ship is including us, teaching us from experience from the past." "Yes," Elena agreed. "We're learning not just how to explore, but how to grow as a civilization. That is why it chose us. We're capable of learning from knowledge and using it to shape the future." The chamber revealed something unexpected next, a simulation of a star system, complete with planets and moons, each with environmental and resource details. The ship projected a series of scenarios, challenging Elena and Matteo to consider how humans could approach exploration responsibly. It was more than a map. It was a lesson in ethics, decision-making, and stewardship. Elena studied the simulations carefully. "It's teaching us foresight. It's teaching us to think about consequences. Not every path is safe, not every choice is wise. But if we learn, if we cooperate, we can succeed." Matteo nodded slowly. "It's more than technology. It's guidance, wisdom. This ship, it's incredible." By the end of the day, Elena and Matteo had cataloged vast amounts of information. Yet the ship continued to pulse gently, as if signaling that there was much more to learn. Every discovery led to new questions, and every question led to understanding. They were beginning to see the ship as a partner, not a machine. Before returning to their base for rest, Elena took a moment to reflect on what they had achieved. "Matteo, today we've done more than explore a ship. We've begun to understand it, to connect with it. It's teaching us, guiding us, and in turn, we are teaching ourselves what it means to be human." Matteo smiled. "We're learning faster than I ever thought possible. The ship, it believes in us, and I think it's right to." Elena nodded. "Yes, humans are capable of more than we realize. We are creative, curious, adaptable. We solve problems, not just react to them, and the ship is helping us see that. It's showing us that we can reach for the stars, and maybe even make a difference once we get there." As they returned to the surface, The harsh winds of Europa felt less imposing. The ice and cold were still dangerous, but Elena and Matteo had found warmth in knowledge, hope in discovery, and a sense of purpose that transcended fear. Humanity had begun a journey that would change everything, guided by the wisdom of an ancient ship that had slept for centuries beneath the ice, now awakened to the potential of its human partners. And deep within the ship, the core pulsed steadily, a silent heartbeat of possibility. It had awakened, but it was not alone. Together, human and machine would explore, learn, and grow, unlocking the secrets of the universe step by step. The journey was far from over, but with each passing moment, humanity proved itself capable, resilient, and ready for the stars. The ship was alive in a way that no human technology had ever been. Its core pulsed steadily, casting a warm glow across the chamber as Elena and Matteo prepared for their first interstellar test. The hatch behind them closed with a soft hum, sealing them inside the vast interior. Outside, Europa's ice stretched endlessly under the pale light of Jupiter, but inside, anticipation and possibility filled the air. Elena stood at the edge of the control area, examining a complex console that had not yet revealed its full function. Lights danced across its surface, responding to her presence as if inviting her to take the next step. She felt a thrill of excitement, tempered by caution. Every action now carried immense significance. The ship had awakened, but it trusted them to act wisely. "Are you ready?" she asked Matteo, her voice steady. Matteo nodded. "As ready as we'll ever be. Let's see what this ship can really do." Elena reached out, her hand hovering above the glowing interface. Symbols shifted and pulsed in response, forming a new pattern that resembled a star map stretching into infinity. The ship was not merely a vessel, it was a guide, a teacher, and now it was offering them a choice, the path into the stars. Slowly, Elena pressed her palm to the center of the map. A soft vibration ran through the floor, and a beam of light extended from the ship into the darkness beyond Europa. The entire vessel shifted subtly, a sense of energy flowing through it like a living heartbeat. The ship was preparing. Matteo watched in awe as the corridors rearranged themselves, optimizing for space travel. "It's adapting to us," he whispered. "It's learning how we think and adjusting itself." "Yes," Elena said, "and we're learning how it thinks. This is more than a ship. It's a partner, a mentor, and a path to the stars." As the final preparations were made, Elena and Matteo entered a control chamber that overlooked the ship's vast interior. The core pulsed brighter than ever, radiating warmth and light, and the holographic star map extended before them like a bridge to the cosmos. The symbols on the walls shifted constantly, forming patterns that communicated subtle information about propulsion, energy distribution, and navigation. Elena took a deep breath. "Engage!" The ship responded immediately. Energy flowed through the conduits, lights shimmered, and a low hum became a resonant tone that filled the entire interior. Slowly, the vessel lifted from its frozen tomb beneath the ice. Europa's surface reflected the glow as the ship rose, breaking through the thick layers of frost and ice. From above, the team in the temporary base watched in stunned silence as the enormous vessel emerged. A perfect blend of alien design and newfound human understanding. The ice below groaned and cracked, but the ship moved smoothly, as if it had been waiting for this moment for centuries. Elena guided Matteo through the controls, relying on intuition as much as observation. The ship responded, aligning itself with the trajectory suggested by the star map. Europa receded beneath them, a pale blue and white world shrinking into the distance, and the void of space opened before them. "This is incredible," Matteo said softly. "We're leaving our home for the first time, not in a probe or a shuttle, but in this." "Yes," Elena replied, her eyes fixed on the stars ahead. "We're explorers now. Humanity has taken the first real step into the universe." The ship moved smoothly through space, guided by the combined understanding of human intuition and the ship's intelligence. Elena marveled at the symbiosis. The ship provided the knowledge and guidance, while humans offered creativity, judgment, and adaptability. Together, they were unstoppable. Hours passed as they traveled, the stars stretching into long lines as the ship accelerated beyond conventional limits. Elena and Matteo observed systems they could never have imagined. Energy cores glowing with impossible efficiency, corridors that reconfigured themselves to optimize space and function, and holographic interfaces that translated thought into action. As they approached the first destination indicated by the ship, a nearby star system with 3 planets, the vessel slowed. The core pulsed, signaling readiness. Elena examined the star map, noting the potential for exploration and discovery on each planet. "The first planet looks habitable," she said. "There's water, atmosphere, signs of geological activity. It could sustain life, or maybe even already has it." Matteo studied the data. This is what the ship was preparing us for. Observation, study, and careful decision-making. We're not just traveling. We're learning how to explore responsibly. "Yes," Elena agreed. "The ship isn't giving us shortcuts. It's teaching us how to think like explorers, how to anticipate challenges, how to work together and make wise choices." They descended toward the first planet, the vessel's systems adjusting automatically to atmospheric entry. Lights shimmered on the hull as the ship aligned itself with the planet's rotation and topography. Elena guided Matteo through the observation panels, explaining what they were seeing: mountains that seemed to rise impossibly high, rivers carving through valleys, and forests that stretched for miles. "This planet, it's alive," Matteo said. "It's like nothing we've seen before, and we're the first humans here." "Yes," Elena said, "we're not just visitors, we're participants. The ship chose us because it knew we could approach this responsibly, with curiosity and care." They landed gently, the ship's hull adjusting to the planet's surface. Elena stepped outside first, feeling the ground beneath her feet. It was solid but warm, a stark contrast to the icy surface of Europa. The air was breathable, with a faint sweet scent, and the sunlight felt softer than Earth's. She looked around, marveling at the new world. Matteo followed, his eyes wide with wonder. "Elena, this is incredible. Humanity, we're really here." "Yes," Elena said, smiling, "and we're ready to explore, carefully, thoughtfully, and together." They spent the next hours studying the planet, guided by the ship. It projected information about the flora and geology, helping them understand the ecosystem without harming it. Every action they took was measured, informed, and responsible. The ship was teaching them the importance of respect for new worlds, emphasizing understanding over exploitation. As night fell on the alien planet, Elena looked up at the stars. They seemed brighter, more numerous than on Europa, and the sense of possibility filled her heart. She realized that this was only the beginning. The ship had opened the door to countless worlds, each waiting for humans to approach with curiosity, wisdom, and care. "The universe is vast," she said softly to Matteo. "But we've taken the first step. We've proven that humans can explore, learn, and grow without destroying what we find. That's what makes us special." Matteo nodded, his expression thoughtful. "And the ship, it's more than a vessel. It's a mentor, a guide, and a partner. We're not alone in this." "Yes," Elena said. "Together, we can reach farther than we ever imagined, and we'll do it the human way, with curiosity, creativity, and compassion." Over the following days, they explored the planet carefully. They mapped the terrain, studied the plants and minerals, and observed the subtle signs of life without disturbing it. The ship guided them at every step, highlighting areas of interest, warning of potential dangers, and suggesting efficient ways to conduct their studies. Elena realized that this journey was as much about understanding themselves as it was about exploring new worlds. The ship was not just a machine, it was a teacher, helping them grow, adapt, and prepare for the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. One day, as they were examining a particularly dense forest, the ship projected a series of simulations. It showed them how different civilizations might approach exploration, some with care, some with recklessness. Each choice had consequences, and Elena saw how knowledge, cooperation, and thoughtful decision-making could lead to success, while arrogance and short-sightedness led to failure. "It's showing us the future," Elena said, "not telling us what to do, but helping us understand what might happen. It's teaching us responsibility." Matteo nodded. "We're not just explorers, we're ambassadors of humanity, and the ship is helping us become the best we can be." As weeks passed, Elena and Matteo visited other planets indicated by the ship. Each world offered new challenges and discoveries, and each time the lessons were the same. Think creatively, act responsibly, and work together. The humans' unique qualities, intuition, empathy, imagination, allowed them to adapt to situations that the ship itself could not predict. Through it all, Elena marveled at the harmony between human and machine. The ship provided knowledge, guidance, and protection, while humans offered creativity, judgment, and ethical understanding. Together, they formed a partnership that allowed them to explore safely and wisely, proving that humanity was capable of great things when curiosity and compassion guided them. On one quiet night aboard the ship, Elena stood before the glowing core. Its light pulsed gently, reflecting her own heartbeat. She felt a sense of connection, a deep bond that spanned species and centuries. "We've done more than travel," she whispered. "We've learned, grown, and proven ourselves. Humanity is ready. We are capable of reaching the stars and doing so wisely. This ship, it chose us for a reason." Matteo joined her, placing a hand on the railing. "And we'll continue. We'll learn, explore, and grow. Together." Elena smiled. "Yes, together. And one day we'll bring all of humanity with us, guided by what we've learned and inspired by what we've discovered." The ship pulsed steadily, as if acknowledging her words. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, a canvas of infinite possibility. Humanity had awakened a sleeping vessel, earned its trust, and taken its first steps into the universe. And in doing so, they had demonstrated the qualities that made them unique: curiosity, creativity, empathy, and resilience. The journey was far from over, but Elena knew one thing with certainty. Humans were no longer limited to one world. They were explorers, thinkers, and creators, ready to shape the future of the cosmos. And the alien ship, silent no longer, would guide them every step of the way. As the vessel glided through the endless night of space, a gentle hum filled the interior, a heartbeat of light and energy, human and machine, together moving forward into the stars. Elena looked out at the endless expanse, a smile on her face and hope in her heart. Humanity had taken its first true step beyond its home, and the universe was waiting.